Good afternoon. Today I wanted to talk about the big S of homeschool, which is socialization. When people first hear the word homeschool, their biggest question is, well, what about socialization? How are these kids ever going to make friends if they don't go to school? I remember when I first told my family that I was going to homeschool, and my uncle's question to me was, but how are they going to learn to stand in line with other people? And I thought, standing in line? That's not really what you go to school for, is it? And I'm like, I'm sure they can learn to stand in line somewhere else. I mean, there's the supermarket, the bank, like a bazillion other places in the world that they can learn to stand in line. We actually did a lot of standing in line when we went to Disneyland in the middle of the school term. So, lots of standing in line there, and they did very well, I might say. And they didn't even have to go to school to learn how to stand in a line. I think a lot of people have like an image in their head of what a homeschool kid looks like, or what homeschool actually looks like as well. Usually the idea of a homeschool kid is they dress awkwardly, they have no social skills, they wear odd socks, they don't brush their hair, they're too scared to do anything, they don't learn anything, they don't know anything. But a lot of that's not true at all. It's just not true. And I mean, if you go to public school, I'm pretty sure that there are like the weird kids at school as well. I mean, I can name like names of kids I went to school with who were the weird kids. Sometimes I think, weird kids are just going to be weird kids. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a weird kid. Anyway, so I wanted to tell you the 5 reasons why I'm glad that my kids are weird homeschool kids. Okay. Number 1, there's less pressure to conform. If you're going to school every day with lots of other kids, there's a pressure to conform, to be like them. It's hard to stand out or not to want to follow the sheep. There's, lots of fads and the cool thing to be doing and stuff like that. At the moment, all the kids have been liking that video game, Fortnite, that's what it's called. And sure, my kids know what Fortnite is, but it's not the be all and end of all of their world. They've played it maybe twice in their life at their friend's house, but they don't have it at home and they don't really care, to be honest, they don't care. But I know if they were at school and they didn't know much about Fortnite and it wasn't something that they were particularly interested in, then I know that they'll probably get teased or they would find it difficult to fit in. The same thing goes for hobbies, interests that they have. They don't feel like that they need to have the same hobbies as everybody else. If they like something and they really like it, they don't have any problem going and pursuing that hobby or that interest that they have, regardless of if anyone else thinks it's cool as well. I like that they are able to be individuals. They know what they like and they don't care if anybody else really likes it or not. They're just gonna like what they like. And I know that's, as you get older, that's really easy to do. It's really easy when you're older to enjoy your own music, your own taste of music and your own style of clothing, and things like that. But when you're young, especially when you're a teenager, it's really hard to enjoy a lot of things that you really enjoy if everybody else thinks that they're lame or not cool. You kind of want to fit in, you don't want to stand out, you don't want to be the odd sheep and things like that. So I can understand so that's one of the reasons I'm really glad that my kids are weird in that way, that they like what they like and they don't care what other people think if they like it or not. Alright, number 2, the second reason I'm glad that my kids are weird homeschoolers is that they make friends based on similar interests. They don't base their friendships around, whether you're in the same class as me at school, whether you're a girl or a boy, whether you're the same age as me. They have friends, little kid friends, they've got big kid friends, they've got adults that they really enjoy spending time with, and that generally base their friendships on things that they have in common and things that they both really enjoy together. And I really appreciate that, because we shouldn't have to just be isolated to one little box of who we can be friends with. I remember last year my daughter was in a choir. It was the Australian Girls Choir, and there was a bunch of other little girls in there. They're all like 5 and 6 years old, And after choir, they would all go and, you know, look around the school. It was held at this beautiful school, like beautiful school grounds. And there was this pond where they had all these little goldfish and stuff that you can, you know, throw bits of bread and stuff into it. Anyway, Lily really wanted to go and hang out with them and go and enjoy throwing bits of bread to the goldfish. And I would just watch her as she went over with these little girls. And I heard them turn to her and say, "You can't come with us. You don't go to school with us. You're not in our class. You can't be friends with us." And she turned around to me, and just the look on her face was absolutely devastated that, you know, she wasn't allowed to join in based on whether she was in their class at school or not. And yeah, it just broke my heart. Because I know that it just broke my heart. Anyway, moving on. Alright, reason number 3 that I'm glad my kids are weird homeschoolers is that they are confident. They're confident in talking to adults. They're confident in themselves. One of the things that sometimes makes it a bit awkward, I think, for adults, especially with my daughter Lily, is that she is very, very confident. She has no problem going and talking to adults and engaging in quite a sophisticated conversation. She'll ask them questions. Like, times I'm with her while she's asking these adults questions, and they'll look at her, and then she'll ask them a question, but they'll respond to me. And I'm often having to say to them, you can talk to her. She's capable of, you know, answering that question and engaging in that conversation, because she was the one who, you know, initiated the conversation. And I think adults are quite put off by that sometimes, but it is what it is. I'm thankful for their confidence. I find it refreshing that they are not too scared to talk to adults and talk to different kinds of people. Nothing really puts them off. I know my younger brother is 18, and he went to public school his whole life, right? But he still can't, you know, engage properly. Like, he was going for his job interview, and we had to have lessons with him on, you know, how to shake someone's hand and how to, you know, talk in an interview, eye contact. Going to the doctor is the same issue for him. He finds it really awkward. He doesn't want to talk to them. And my mum's like, you know, you gotta open your mouth and you gotta talk and you gotta, you know, engage with people. Whereas my kids, perfectly fine. They could go and have a conversation with anybody, really. Okay, reason number 3. They genuinely love their siblings and they love us as their parents. They enjoy spending time with us. They want to go do things with us. They love hanging out with each other. They'll stay up for hours at night when they're supposed to be sleeping, talking to each other, reading to each other, and things like that. And that really warms my heart, because oftentimes I teach kids at church, and I remember having a lesson one day about siblings and family and how much, you know, we should love our families and things like that. And every single one of the kids said, I don't like my brother, I don't like my sister, I wish I was an only child, I wish I didn't have to spend time with them. And it was the same thing growing up. My friends at school, everybody enjoyed being with their friends more than they enjoyed being with their family. And I know if you gave my kids a choice, they would choose their family over their friends. And that's how it's supposed to be. Well, that's how I feel it's supposed to be. I mean, friends are going to be around temporarily. Some friends stay around forever, but the majority of them don't. I know I have 2 of my best friends from high school that I'm still really good friends with, but the rest of them, I've probably not talked to them since the day I graduated, to be honest. But family, they're there forever. You know, they're the people that have your back all the time. They're the people that, they're your people. So I would rather that my children really invested in those relationships than worrying about putting their friends and outside pursuits above their family. That's not to say they don't have friends. They've got plenty of friends. They go to birthday parties. They go to play dates. They go hang out with friends. They go to the movies with friends. They have sleepovers with friends. You know, they do all the friend things, but their siblings are their number 1. Okay, reason number 4. They love to learn. I mean, if you think back to when kids are little, like 3, 4, oftentimes you find those kids who are really, really passionate about something. Like, I have this kid in my class at church. He's just turned 4, I think, and he loves dinosaurs. He could tell you like anything you wanted to know about dinosaurs. He is so in love with dinosaurs. And that's a lot of the times what homeschool kids are like. They really, really find their passion and they love what they learn about. I think as you find as kids go to school, quite often they lose that passion for different things. They don't have the time to develop that kind of passion for things. They spend, 6 to 8 hours in school every day learning what they're told to learn. They don't have the opportunity to learn things that really interest them. As homeschool kids, their block schoolwork doesn't take as much time because there's a lot of one-on-one work going on, a lot of individual work and things like that. So there is that portion of the day when they can spend that time diving into the things that they really, really love. My son at the moment really loves the Titanic, and if you ask him anything about the Titanic, he'll be able to tell you. He's watched documentaries, he's read books, he's written essays about it, and he just loves the Titanic. I don't know if they're learning that at school. I remember doing a project on the Titanic at school, but it was only like a small portion of a study sort of thing. Also, if a kid really enjoys this topic or enjoys a subject, like Lily really loves maths, and she can move forward in maths at an incredible pace. She's probably about at least 1.5 to 2 years ahead of her grade level for maths, and that's because she is really passionate about the subject. She loves maths. Oren, on the other hand, could not care less about maths. He hates it, does not ever want to do it, but he can do it, but it's not his passion at all. You give him some like writing and some reading, he'll go away on that. But for Lily, maths is her passion, maths is her forte, it's her strongest subject, and she can go ahead. She doesn't have to stay with the pack, and so she can go and she can be the weird homeschooler who knows a ridiculous amount of maths for a little 6-year-old. Also on that topic, learning becomes something that they are passionate about. They really love to learn. They want to go out and they want to find the answers to things. They have questions and they just want to know the answers. They become passionate about learning and they want to know how to find the answers. They learn how to find the answers themselves. One of my goals as a parent and as a homeschool mother is that I want to teach my children how to learn. Once you teach somebody how to learn, the world is their oyster. It just opens up so many opportunities for them. They don't need to be spoon-fed every bit of information. It's when you're passionate about something, when kids are passionate about something, they soak in so much more. If they have no desire to learn it, it just doesn't stick. It's just like feeding them information and then they just regurgitate it back out. But if they really love something and they really want to know about it, they will go and they'll search it out. They'll find the answers themselves and they will soak it in. They'll be like these little sponges of information that know everything and anything there is to know about the subject. And I think that is amazing. That is incredible. I think more kids should have the opportunity to do that. They don't get that opportunity in public schools. There's a curriculum. You learn what is given to you. I mean, we have a curriculum as well, and a curriculum is good a lot of the time because it offers you a lot of variety, and it covers all the things that you'd want your kids to generally know. But then it's just a springboard onto other things. They can. The kids have learned about George Washington recently. We're learning about the American Revolution and American history at the moment. So they have taken the small lessons that we've done, the lessons in maybe an hour, but then they've watched more movies, they've read more books, they know everything there is to know almost. Well, obviously not everything, but they know so much more than what they would have known if we had just done the lesson, They just love to learn. They want to know everything. All right, the final reason. I mean, there's a million more reasons, but we're just sticking with 5. All right, the 5th reason is they are so much more accepting and understanding of other people. One of the reasons a lot of people homeschool is because their children have special needs. We go to a homeschool co-op where there's probably about 25 kids, 25 to 30 kids around about. Our kids in particular don't have any special needs. They don't have any special needs or anything like that. But I would say at least 80% of their friends are on the autism spectrum. And it does not bother them one bit. They go to homeschool co-op, we go once a week, and they understand these kids. They know, you know, when they need to be left alone, they don't, they take the time to understand them, they take the time to listen. If they're not talking clearly enough, they will take the time to, you know, slow down, talk to them. They've recognized their parents, how their parents interact with them and things like that. And then they use those same strategies with them as well. They understand if a kid is having a meltdown in the sandpit, that it's okay to just walk away. They understand, you know, if they're in the middle of a meltdown and they're throwing sand at them and stuff, it's not directed at them personally, it's just how they're coping with what's going on around them. And I think that is amazing. I mean, I know these kids would probably be the kids that will be picked on at school. There's no doubt that they would have been picked on at school. A lot of them have been to school and then they've been taken out because of bullying and things like that. And I think it's such an amazing thing for these kids, who are amazing kids and they have the most amazing families, that they can come to this place where everybody is so accepting. I mean, this is not just my kids that are accepting, it's the wider community of homeschooling kids. All the kids in the co-op, whether they have special needs or don't have special needs, they're all friends. And they love each other. They are genuinely interested in each other. They care about each other. And what's more is that the parents care as well. The parents love your kids. I mean, I love everyone's kids, and I know that the other people love my kids as well, and they will look out for them. I love that my kids are being exposed to people who are different, that have additional needs to them. And it just makes the world just a happier place when it can be a lot more accepting and things like that. I know sometimes it's hard. It's hard even when you're not a family who has kids with special needs. It is hard often to find people who genuinely care about your kids, and children who care about your kids as well, who want the best for them, and kids who are not going to ditch them when something better comes along. So those are some of the reasons why I'm glad that my kids are the weird homeschoolers. I mean, they have definitely gone out with brushed hair, odd socks, looking exactly the stereotypical homeschool kid. And I don't really care. It's okay to be weird. I don't want my kids to be normal. I want my kids to stand up for what is right. I want them to walk out of movies when they're inappropriate. I want them to stand up for the little guy. I want them to defend what is right, stand up for what they believe in, and I want them to be happy. And homeschooling makes them happy. It makes us happy. There is so much more to homeschooling than worrying about the socialization aspect. I mean, my kids, sure, maybe they're weird. I don't really know. Don't really care. They go to plenty of activities where they make friends. They have a lot of friends. Like, it's not even an issue. They go to Japanese class, they go to choir, they have done gymnastics, they've done karate, they've done swimming, they go to a co-op, they go to church, they go to other activities at church. My week is full of maintaining their social schedules pretty much. So if you like this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and we'll be here every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and see you next time.